Hey Siri, call announcer need.
She think you talking to her on my shit.
Talking to your bitch. I got my own bitch. Cause if I die, make sure say I got the house.
We live?
Obituary.
Yeah, you live.
We live like a 5-wheel drive, baby. We in the building. Hey, I gotta say, this right here is an honor to sit with gentlemen of your stature that have transcended different walks of life and been so successful and achieved, so much in different arenas. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. Please introduce yourselves to these good people today.
All right, shit. I'm Vincent Bragg. I am co-founder and CEO of Concreates. This is my good friend
Joe Michael Nixon, co-founder, chief creative officer of Concreates.
Yeah. Boom.
Damn, he just told me the Akinelli.
Damn. My guy is a hip hop head, bro. The references we've been, but the essays was cool though.
With
that being said, we appreciate all the constituents of Lush World. Please, if you don't mind, like, share, subscribe, but don't just merely like. I need you to stomp on that like button, disrespect it like it owe you money and it's being negligent. Stomp on that like button. If you got any super chats and you want any specific things addressed, you know what to do with it, but it's free to hit that like button. That is the most important. Before we get into this conversation, are y'all familiar with honey packs?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
In the name of the Lord, listen.
I got him in the car right now.
Yeah?
First of all, honey packs, listen, man. If you don't know what honey packs is, you in last place in the fast race. And that's why you ain't got no bitches in your face.
Ain't gonna never have no money. Ain't gonna never have no bitch.
And hey, for me, 41 years old, I feel like I'm at prime honey pack age.
Listen.
I'm knocking it down like I'm 25 right now. Like,
man,
yeah.
For real, listen, man. What's understood don't need to be explained. Honey packs.
We like to do something we call the I-Nam swerve. You know what I'm saying?
What's that?
Yeah.
So you take the tequila shot, you put your honey pack in it, and you sip. You know what I'm saying?
Easy call.
First of all, shout out. I need all mine clothing because that's what the origins of the E-Nam swerve. Faciano Larry Wood saying in though.
Not
I need
a cent
all
nor a
mine,
dollar missing.
Not a cent nor a dollar missing.
So if you need them honey packs, what you got to do is go to royaltyhoneyyusa.com. Put in the discount code Lush Uno. It's all one word. LUSHUNO. All caps.
And if you can't go there, you hit your local bootleg smoke shop, and it's gonna be in the building. I don't know but it's for showing.
Hey, I'm gonna let you know like this. I done sampled the different ones on the market. This Royalty Honey USA.
Yeah, that's like yada mean.
Yeah, that's like yada.
That's like yada. Yeah, you understand me?
It gets you right. I lived in the Bay for 13 years. So
listen, man.
I'm well versed in the yada slang.
Why you think they call me on the alternative universe? They call me Mighty Joe Hun. That was the vital honey pie.
So
It's the Royalty Honey.
with that being said, it make you light as a feather, stiff as a board, knocking it down like never before. And for the ladies, it works for y'all too. It'll turn your pool into an oasis. Yeah, right on time, Rick in the cut. That's a scary sight. With that being said, a lot of people might not be familiar.
Yeah.
They should be, because all they got to do is Google Concreate, Google y'all names.
Yeah.
They're going to see. You guys work with some of the biggest brands in the world.
Yeah, man.
We're talking Google, the artist formerly known as Facebook, currently known as Meta, Indeed. We're going to talk about a lot of the serendipitous connections that brought us together.
Wow.
That, I attribute. You got $10 from Isaiah Jackson. Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We going crazy. But you guys have a very interesting past, both of y'all individually. So my man's over here was responsible for a $300 million cocaine empire.
A little north of 300.
A little north, you feel me? A soft 400, is that safe to say? And my man's right here robbed over 27 banks.
Allegedly. I'm still on the pill.
Okay.
I'm on the light.
Okay.
But no, I'm just on the pill just because I'm smart. I'm not on the pill because I got nothing coming. Like, I did the shit, but it's principality. Accountability.
Go ahead,
Smokey.
Shout out to Faison.
Shout out, Faison.
And y'all, and you guys, how much time did y'all do in incarceration?
So I was sentenced to 121 months. He was sentenced to what,
240 months.
240, yeah. So
That's a lot of years. Is that safe to say football numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Quarterback. You're like Joe Montana.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, man, it's the system designed for the way it's set up. It's designed the way it is, and so, you know, for us, you know, basically being able to take something super negative and use it to our advantage. Like, we looked at it like college, you know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, we going for a doctorate, or, you know, are we going for our graduate degrees, you know what I'm saying? And so,
Right.
you know, we leveraged that. We read a, you know, shit ton of books. We damn near hosted a book club, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was just about really sitting down and using this time to our advantage rather than, you know, being bitter or upset about the time.
You got to keep in mind too, like the feds, that is the all-star league of criminality. Mm-hmm. So where do you think Chapo going to jail at?
Right.
Where do you think the Larry Hoover's going to jail at?
Yeah.
Where do you think they're going to jail at? And when you tapped in, we figured out that there are two different types of individuals in federal prison.
Mm-hmm.
And what are those?
Those are individuals who want to be better criminals, and those are individuals who want to be better humans. And we tapped into the ones who you figured out who we tapped into.
The better humans.
And we did some dope
question.
shit.
And I'm assuming there are certain people that probably went in there wanting to become better criminals.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That once you...
Like, oh, I'm going to get a connect, I'm going to get a plug, I'm going to do
Yeah, because you got to think about it. If you tapped in, everything is there. Like you have everybody from Jalisco, Durango, everywhere. What does everybody in the urban community want? They want the plug.
Right.
The plug need to get rid of the work, and these are here, and we're here to be friends, and we're here to be neighbors. What the fuck you think gonna take place in here?
Right. Now, there's so much to touch on. I want to talk on your origin stories, your ascent in these underworld activities, then the incarceration, and then the inevitable switch of fortune to led you from federal prison to the south of France, and you know, corporate offices being praised by CEOs across the world. But I think it's really important to touch on what brought us here today. And you have a friendship with Rick that goes back.
That's my god brother. So, you know, his daddy was my godfather, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's crazy because I remember I got to this one yard, and like my first encounter with the essays wasn't like the most, you know.
It wasn't pleasant.
No question. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't knowing, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, yo, niggas is giving me soups and shit. I'm like, and I'm hungry. I've been traveling all day. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking like I'm about to just, you know, go heat up this little punk.
Is this day one?
This is day one when I get to the yard that we on.
Okay. So
I walk into the thing, you know, they give me the shower.
Sinaloa. What's happening, Sinaloa?
Yeah.
Oh, in the building. Yeah.
So I get my little soup. I'm about to go heat up a soup, you know what I'm saying, some water and eat. But apparently it's day, you know what I'm saying? It's day TV. Like, we can go in there and make food, but it's day room this day.
Right.
But I don't know that, you know what I'm saying? So I walk in, I got my little shower shoes on, and one of the essays like put his arm in my chest like, yo, you can't be in here. And so automatically I'm thinking like, oh, they trying me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, right. So I'm like, oh, you can't tell me what the fuck to do, you know what I'm saying? I turned into a whole thing. So they over here having a whole meeting about this new black food that walked in here.
This nigga don't know the rules.
I don't know the rules, you know what I'm saying? And so
So it started going left at that point.
It did, but at the same time, I was also cognizant, like, I can't think for myself. And so, you know, we had to, you know, go back to the niggas that gave me the soup, because I'm pissed, like, all right, nigga, what we about to do? So they like, nah, like, it's day, you know what I'm saying? You got shower shoes on. It's not hygienic, you know what I'm saying? You can't be in the room with shower shoes on. So,
right.
So boom, we get it all squared away. They get it all squared away. And then fast forward, I end up in the visiting room.
Was Rick, were you in?
Yeah, he was already locked up.
Were you in that room at that time when that happened?
I was.
So what's your perception of this story?
So I mean, like, I'm already writing on my bed, you know what I'm saying? I'm a few years in, like, chilling, and we're in the microwave room, and it's our day, you know, and when, you know, they hit the yard or whatever, you know, like, we didn't pay no attention. Me and the homie are in the microwave room, and we're chilling. It's our day. We're cooking food and shit. And here comes this happy ass guy with a big old smile on his face, fucking holding a bowl with a soup, looking like So the homie, I tell the homie that's standing with me, I'm like, look at this fool coming in here with shower shoes, dog. I'm like, he can't be in here. And the homie's like, I'll say something. So the homie steps up, and then, you know, we're trying to tell this dude respectfully, like, bro, you can't be in here like that. And he's like, what you mean I can't be up in here? Who is you? You ain't doing my time. Me and Capone and all, we're about to book this food, bro. Like, what the fuck, homie? Who the fuck is this fool? And then all of a sudden, him and his fucking, a few of his homies came down, you know, the people came down the hallway, and they seen what was going on. And he went for a walk with them, you know, and he's still telling them, yeah, but who are they to talk to me like that? Who are they to tell me I can't be in that room? And they're explaining to him that there's politics and this and that. And, you know, not that we were trying him, but that's all race rules in there and shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So that was how I yeah.
And then, so
Even crazier.
y'all are unaware of who each other are at this point.
Right. Like, I done seen him in pictures and shit like that, but in the moment, like, I'm not looking at him to say, like, oh, I got a connection with him in some way, shape, or form. I'm tripping like they tripping. So fast forward, we in the visiting room, and I'm sitting down and I'm looking at his table, and I'm making eye contact with this man. And so he gets up to, like, go to the bathroom, and I kind of grab him, like, and I say his name, and that's when it all, like, came together. So he hugging me, like, we get to talking. So he tripping, though. Because his daddy done already said some crazy shit, and he thinking that the shit done went crazy. Because my son, mama, she in the visiting room before I get there. So so Pop's telling him, like, yo, she got a nice ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, his daddy really the type of motherfucker that'd be like, hey, you're beautiful, like, and try to hit on her. So when he see it's me, he already know, like, this, he don't got no sense. It could go crazy. So he thinking it with the motion and all of the, like, he thinking it's some shit. But then when he find out, you know what I'm saying, it's me, and it's all love, like, we just became, super close, you know what I mean?
And then after that, was there any politics that y'all had to face as far as, you know, it's not always cool between the essays and the blacks in there? Like, did y'all ever have to deal with any ramifications of that?
Nah, I mean, if for me, like, if anything ever really popped off, we was in a couple situations where it's like, nigga, you go left, I go right type time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what it is, but, you know, ultimately, like, nah, we ain't had no type of, nobody tried to press us about our relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So here's where it gets interesting. So y'all wind up, you know, y'all are brothers, y'all brother-in-laws, or god brothers, essentially. Then afterwards, Rick winds up randomly hitting you up a few days ago.
Yeah.
You bail through to the office to say what's up. Then you see me, you see my name, and you're like, wait a second.
Right.
Hyams, I know your brother, Chris, who you work with on a corporate level with Indeed.
Right.
So
we're actually fast forwarding now because we way done with prison, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah. But we gonna go back and touch on that. But as far as
the matter is, like, your brother is a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
One of the most inspirational leaders that I have come across in the corporate arena, and it was just serendipitous that I come over here to, you know, give my condolences and whatnot to my brother. And he's like telling me about you, and he's like showing me the Wikipedia, and I'm looking at the last name like, is he related to such and such? He like, yeah, that's his brother. So I take a picture of you and send it to him like, yo, is this your brother?
Yeah.
Chris like, well, believe it or not, like, yeah, that's my brother, yeah.
Yeah.
How do y'all know
it's very infrequent that these walks of lives will intersect.
Ever.
So,
like, you don't understand, like, your brother is bigging us up in one of the biggest marketing conferences in the world, and he doesn't even know we're there.
Yeah.
That's how we mess with your brother. That's how much of a human being he is.
Right.
Shouts to Big Chris.
No,
Come on.
He also got a podcast called Here to Help. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, run that up.
yeah, you feel me? That's my guy.
You couldn't be more different between Chris and I, but you know,
Y'all won't even understand that. That's what makes this really even doper.
yeah.
They transcend different aspects of life, yet they are brothers, yet we are all here knowing the same people.
So it's a beautiful thing, and
Yeah,
we just getting started on what's cracking.
No
so
question.
so yeah, I already knew that you was a real one from our conversation the other day.
Yeah.
But then when I got that text from my bro the next morning, it only further substantiated what I already knew, and it was like, yeah, he's that guy. That's what he spoke. Entirely.
I'm just a man sitting next to a man sitting next to another man.
Yeah.
Amongst other men. You feel me? Like,
You know some things.
Yeah. With that being said, South Central and Watts point of origin. You're from the 50s section.
Yeah, most definitely. So, yeah, most definitely. So you're most
Crenshaw
definitely going to see me on 57th and Normandy. Make no differences of that area. Born and raised.
Which is crazy because, you know, we just had the Crip Mac interview.
I mean, listen, man, it's most definitely shout out Crab Mac, 55th Street, the face of the hood. No doubt, no shout. What's up? Shout out, man.
And you're from Watts.
Yeah.
And growing up around a lot of, obviously, you know, you grew up entrenched in gang turf and things like that. But you yourself never actually wound up affiliating.
Nah, I mean, for me, I always been, you know, I like, you know, women, you know what I'm saying? I was more on
Cause he from Tuna. So
Yeah. Turned up, not affiliated.
You know where he from, like Kane, like Tyron Turner, all them things. Don't get them fucked up at all. They doing all the shit that the gangbangers doing. They just not doing with them politics.
Right.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, like,
And then you see a lot of that. I mean, in recent years, you had like Draco, RIP, and the Stink Team, and all that. So
exactly.
you see that represented on a mass level.
On a mass level. Don't never get it
Because
twisted
that's always been a thing. Not everyone from LA is a gang member.
at all.
Everyone from LA knows gang members and functions with gang members, but you know.
yeah, we definitely entrenched in the culture, you know what I mean?
Pac told you the best. Every nigga in LA got a little bit of thug in him. Don't get it fucked up.
Might fight amongst each other, but I promise you this.
We bitch, they don't get a fit.
For real.
So tell me about the origins of your prospective careers prior to prison, as far as you know, the dope game and all that. And how did you, we're not trying to give a tutorial here or nothing, but how did you wind up? I mean, dude, that's a pretty lucrative cocaine business you had.
Listen. I'm gonna tell y'all the same way I tell most people. I managed to Forrest Gump my way through this whole entire life I've been on this planet.
You do got heavy Forrest.
You know what I'm saying? I just happen to always be I'm everywhere, in my opinion, God want me to be. So you can see this big ass scar on my head. At the time, like, I worked for this steel plant. I ended up getting hurt real bad, cut my head, and decided, you know what? Like, I don't want to work for nobody. I tried to sue the company. They said you would have had to die in order to get money type shit. So.
And you're how old at that time?
I don't know, 19, 20.
Okay.
Something like that.
Fresh out of high school, basically.
Mm-hmm. It definitely was off the porch, though. I was already, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
moving 8 balls and all that. Like MJG.
small little amounts, you know what I'm saying? Like, in school, like, type shit.
Right.
So, you know, just to be clear, like, I was emancipated at 15. Which
really?
Yeah, so I've been on my own since then. Like, I already was trying to figure out how to, you know, survive. You know.
So you had your own place and all that. 15 years old.
Car, all of that.
That's crazy.
And so, I end up hurting myself. So I figure I'm gonna come back to Cali. I lived in Atlanta at the time. I'm gonna come back to Cali. I'm gonna use my little workers comp check and my little income tax check. I'm gonna buy some weed, and you know,
I would have just stayed at the Freaknik, but I ain't gonna hold you.
I'm gonna buy some weed, right? I wanted to buy 5 pounds of weed, take it down to the A, and I was gonna bubble off of that.
And 5 pounds of weed at that time is a lot. It's not like now people's shit.
Yeah, I mean, they was paying like $120 an ounce,
right,
for weed for mid down there at the time,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, I could probably get a pound for that. You know what I mean? So I come back, get it, boom. My man, I tell him I need 5. He says, I got you, right? So we exchanged numbers again. We went to high school together, and he calls me like 2 hours later, like, look, I can only get 2. So I'm like, all right, cool, bring it over. Fast forward. So
Is this stress weed?
Yeah, it's this.
Yeah, because you're talking low numbers.
Yeah, it's mid. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? At the time, that's what they call it over there, was mid.
Right.
But we could call it stress, you know what I'm saying, whatever, right? So apparently, you know, fast forward, so we not talking about the story too long, he thought I meant 500. And so he brought me 200 pounds of weed.
Oh.
And was like, so I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? And he like, well, you can't take it back. You know what I'm saying? There's no refund policy type time. And so I got rid of it. You know what I'm saying? I figured out how to make it work. You know what I mean? And got rid of it and got rid of it and got rid of it and got rid of it. And so, you know, fast forward a little bit, I end up, you know, getting arrested. I had 100 pounds of weed in the car. And it was a DA reject. They nobody would pick up the case. Like it was inadmissible search and seizure type time.
Is that out here or is that out there?
It was out here.
Okay.
I was back on the re-up. And he basically was like, I don't even fuck with weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just did that shit because, you know, that's what you asked me for. But why don't you go in there and grab 10 of them things and see what you could do? You know what I mean?
So your real intro to the dope game, you getting 10 big boys.
I had 10 joints.
On an accident.
Yeah.
On an accident.
Like I said, I managed to Forrest Gump my way into...
That does not happen.
I can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
Like, I can't make up that my god brother and you and my client over at Indeed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't make
where
it
we
up.
be lying when we be telling
No.
stories.
I don't
like, fuck.
I know you not capping, but that do not happen. You feel me? Like, it happened, but it don't happen.
Right.
Like, but it
We
happened.
gotta remind each other sometimes, like because we be so humble about like how we moving. Like we have to tell each other, bro, this shit ain't normal.
Yeah.
This
it's not.
shit ain't normal, bro. Like, and so yeah, like I said, he was like, take 10 of them, and it was easier. It was smaller. Shit went faster. Like I was done with the 10 joints in like a day and a half.
And that's like, I mean, wholesale, that's like $300K type shit. Like
At the time, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get in
yeah.
schematics, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, I was getting it so cheap, you know what I'm saying? It was, you know, it was lucrative,
Right.
Especially when my turnaround was so quick. So once I downed the first 10 in a day and a half, it became, nigga, take 30, take 60, take, you know what I'm saying? Like just here. I was like Mikey to the ass. He like, that nigga eat anything.
Right.
And so that's how it happened. You know what I'm saying? I just, like I said, stumbled across a situation that led into another situation, and you know, I was always able to operate at the highest level. Like no matter what industry we get into, like we're always gonna operate at the highest level. So
And then at a certain point, you Tony.
My own.
it was a time, yeah, where you could consider that, and then you got to look at him like,
Oh no, we gonna get into that too.
Way, you feel me?
We gonna
Studies, like it didn't take me a long time to figure out how this shit works. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, okay, made a mistake over here. I get it. Now I'm gonna do it like this. You know what I mean? And same thing with advertising. Like we basically flew the plane as we built the motherfucker.
Right. See, I mean, I just don't think people realize how intense it is. Me, former dope dealer myself, and I remember when I first got put on with 4 and a baby, 4.5 ounces, mind you, and I thought that I was doing it big. And then when I first started touching my first big boys, I was like, whoa, 1 or 2 of them is crazy.
Wildin'.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people you're dealing with.
Right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's responsible for a lot of nostrils. You're feeding a lot of nostrils. But what you talking about, that's a different level. So how long did it take for you to get from, you know, that first 10 piece or the first 10 big boys to the height of your empire?
I made 11 million the first year. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it was like 10x, like every time. like every year after that. I only had like a 3-4 year run.
That's a pretty solid run, though, for being in a position like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people don't, there's exceptions to the rule, of course. And,
But again, right? Like we look at ourselves as students of the game. Like this was a time where it was like some of the biggest drug empires existed. So I was always able to kind of, they had, movies coming out, shit that would really tell these stories. So I'm able to, and then I knew some of these cats. So it's like, I'm able to kind of watch what's going on and like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it like this then. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
right.
They moving like this, I'm going to do it like this, but I'm going to still
Right.
keep the same principles and the same intensity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need a big crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like small and lean. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
What year did you wind up getting busted?
I ended up going down in 2011.
Okay, so you're like, this is long after the whole, you're after the freeway Rick Ross thing, the whole,
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
BMF is cracking though and shit like that.
At the time, like when I was really getting into it, like they was like at the height of they shit.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I know somebody wants to see it. They want to know what kind of pants you're wearing. They said they're nice pants.
Who, me?
You.
Got the ball mains, right?
Listen, I'm tripping because every time I wear these pants, we was in the south of France. I had these joints on. Whatever going on with these motherfuckers, man. This is what the fuck? Who makes these? It's an independent label. I fuck with independent, so. We always trying to think about.
It might be somebody fresh out of prison. Ain't no telling.
It's probably a prison
Yeah,
brand.
for real.
Just like
It might
this
be a
one.
prison brand.
Them shits look like ball mains. I ain't gonna lie to you. But hey, I keep them clean though.
I keep them clean,
though.
bro. They 10s, but I keep them clean.
And okay, I want to talk about
Mr. Nick.
then the whole you getting busted, but I want to get into this side of the story as well. So talk about your origins coming up in the game and all that.
Oh, okay. So the origins of it, you would probably call it the opposite track. So like mine is a very unique situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to my mom, my pop. So although I'm on 57th and Normandy all the time, my parents made it a thing of it to make sure that I went to school, not over here, meaning in the valley, somewhere well off, and all the times I was often the only white kid in school for the first 4 years of elementary. I went to Pomelo Drive Elementary. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, what made it like full circle moments, now I get it, because when I was at school, I would be talking about Tony Hawk and using words like awesome. And then I come home and be talking about and listen to Eazy-E and different shit.
Right.
So the full circle of like just always into now was a thing, but I didn't get it then. But I was like, always playing double dutch.
Okay.
So that was like a thing.
And no, but that probably gave you a lot more diversity and perspective
most
and all that.
Most definitely. I was going to like I understood what like bar mitzvahs were.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like different culturalisms and all of that things at the time. So
you're probably one of the first from your hood to be fucking with white bitches.
like you know what I'm saying? Like,
playing in the snow. He was playing in the snow. You playing in a different type of snow. But yeah. Okay. But it's so we know about the gang life.
Yeah, no doubt.
We know that there's different ways to finance them activities.
No doubt.
People at the time doing a lot of carjacking,
No doubt.
a lot of slanging,
No doubt.
all kinds of shit. But bank robberies.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, how much can we delve into it? Because you said that there's still appeals going on.
Yeah,
like,
is
that a sensitive topic?
No, it's a couple of things. That's what I'm tripping on, because they do the worst of things. Like, they make you do the time, then you have to play restitution. It's like, wait a minute, goddamn, like this is a double dutch here. So it's just a thing.
They
I'm arguing over principalities, although how the law is written, they're correct.
Yeah.
But I want to go to the Supreme Court because I don't think that is correct.
The specific phrasing.
The specific phrasing, yes, that's it.
But okay, so are you able to talk about?
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
So
I went to trial. I exercised my right. I did all of this stuff. It's public information. I did the thing, and I got a hung jury on things. Like I'm with all of that.
and you did 17 years.
17 years, 6 months, 2 days. But I wasn't counting.
Damn.
Who counting up?
Damn. Okay.
How many presidencies in the
Man, listen, that
That's
was
four presidencies.
That's how I did my time, like on presidencies and Olympics. I was like, God damn, I got 3 more Olympics. Oh wait,
fucking calendar. We looking at
exactly.
we looking at World Cups.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so you so what got you into? Because I mean, that's everyone is fantasized about. Every time I go into the damn bank, I'll be like,
I mean,
damn.
like the thing to me, honestly, it was like when people ask that, it's like common sense, right? Because like me and him, we argue all the time. I was like, my nigga, like I understand the bread and all that shit, but that shit take too long. So you got to get some dough, find a plug, sell the shit, do all of that shit. You want some money?
Yeah.
The bank's right there. All the money is in there. I don't think you can stop me from getting this shit. It's like what's the quickest point? A to B.
Occam's razor.
Yeah. That was the common sense thing to me.
Okay, so you came up with this idea on your own, or you and your partner?
No, most definitely. If you know anything about our district, our culture, where it is that we from, that is a thing. It advanced from Rolex robberies to this to the bank robbery. If you examine our district, these 50s, these 60s, these 40s, these 100s, these rich rollings, banks. Come on, man. It's common sense,
right?
You know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And either you with it or you not. And I just happen to be, like I told you earlier, the best of both worlds. So when it was introduced to me, strategic wise, I was like, oh wait, I'm about to tear your ass up, because I understood more than anybody else it wasn't about the bank robbery, it was about the exit.
Right. So I mean, like allegedly you going in there like whams out, or is it like notes?
It's fully get cracking crew.
Okay.
It's fully get cracking crew, the element of surprise. That is why the sentence was so extensive. So if you know anything, when made my time was 18 USC 924C, which is the use of a firearm in a crime of violence.
A drug crime.
Yeah, or drug crime. But I'm gonna give you some interesting facts about this shit, because I'm like a hipster geek. I'm a nerd. So do you know where that statute came from?
I do not.
That statute was enacted in 1968 as a response to the death of Martin Luther King.
Wow.
They made that a federal crime. It was put in then, but it translated to now it goes into all federal crimes in the use of a firearm, use of a drug trafficking. It advanced, it mutated to something else, but that is the origins of 1924C.
Ironically, prosecuting black men.
Yeah. Think of such.
Yeah. That's an interesting twist of fate right there.
The system crazy, man.
Yeah, that's a curveball. That's so. And you're stacking some pretty substantial papers.
Yeah, I'm on. I have to share with you something. Like, the bread was a thing, but I was doing so much other shit because, like you said, I'm in the streets. I'm going to school. Like, whoever got some weed, I'm robbing. We pass it.
Right.
I'm outside.
You
know what I'm saying?
You a full blown stick up kid.
Check my track record. We're not even gonna go on there. But Google me or just ask the nigga next in the cell with you.
Yeah.
I was outside with that, so it was just like that was the thing, and I never understood what was taking place because I was like, this is what it was. I'm at school the next day. Now, I'm not sure. I got a test tomorrow. I got shit to do.
You still in high school?
I'm still in high school. I got shit to do.
And I mean, was there any close calls? You getting busted before?
Oh my goodness, man. Listen, man. The one
I know you got a story.
You know what? I'm gonna tell his favorite one.
Yeah.
Bust it.
This was my stop. I'm gonna show you the pictures too. This is like I'm not fucking with banks no more. Like I can't make this shit up. Ironically, I'm gonna tell you where it was, but it's not too far from where we are, right?
Okay.
So this takes place, and then happens to be a B of A at the time. So we sitting on this motherfucker. We was like, man, I'm talking about the homework is lit. This motherfucker's so big. We like a quarter mile from the freeway. We about to pass. It's about to be up.
You looking at the little shift changes,
all this stuff. Listen, man, it's game time.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, so they may have changed it now, but the third Thursday of the month before 9, that's when they would do their drops. Like I was in there, like, cause my homework was lit. We wasn't in here on no thirsty.
That's when the brinks pull up and all that.
Yeah, we want that shit before you even put it up.
Okay.
I need all that. That you know what I'm saying? So
Smart. Smart.
Yeah.
Strategist.
Yeah. So we was on that type of shit. So this day, we go up in the motherfucker, do the 1-2. We go to the walkie-talkies, the scanners, the outside, all of this. I'm equipped. Bam, about to do the vault thing, do my 1-2. Oh, man, I hear a confrontation. I hear yelling. I'm like, oh, my fucking goodness. This is like, what the fuck is this, right? So I come out now. I got to take the manager because I'm taking her with me. Like, this is a true story. Like, come on, man. What's going on out here? My partner who's responsible for the floor is having an interaction with an older couple who is white, and he's trying to get, which is his job, to get everybody on the floor.
Right.
The thing is, OG like 80 something. He was like, I'm not getting on the fucking floor. Like,
I'm
all of that shit. So listen,
white privilege is a motherfucker.
like, listen, bro, I'm like, listen, man, I got shit to die. Like, I don't believe this shit, right? Man,
It's my favorite story.
like, I'm
This is
really
amazing.
I have the pictures. Like, this I can't make this up, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm coming. I was like, now I got the strap. I got the walkie-talkie. I'm trying to come near her. I'm like, Pops, what's wrong? Like, man, I'm not getting on the floor. I said, Pops, I said, could you look in the sky? He said,
He like that.
I could do that. Son. In the next frame of the picture, you see Pops look at his wife. He be like, fuck, I can do that because I'm not doing what he was
I'm
talking
not
about.
getting on the floor. I might not get back
I
up.
was like, bro, man, get on your shit. I'm turning around and go like this, bro. There's a little 4-year-old going
Better
like
than me. I would have sweep kicked that motherfucker.
There's a little 4-year-old like this with his hands up, man. He's saying, put him up. I said, oh my fucking goodness. Now I got the strap. I have the pictures of this.
Right.
I got the strap like this. I'm like, little man, where's your mommy? She says, I'm right here. She's laying down. I go and grab her, grab the shit, go back, do our 1-2, get our wiggle, get on. I'm done. That was my last one ever in life.
That's the last one.
That was my last one.
Then question for both of y'all. Then the inevitable bust. How what happened?
But we never got caught. I ain't never got caught. Yeah, we ain't never.
You ain't got caught.
Not doing that shit.
I turned myself in.
Niggas tired.
Okay.
I was already indicted.
Oh, you got snitched on.
Yeah,
I
niggas
did
tired.
You got snitched on.
Yeah, niggas tired.
Both of y'all got snitched on.
I couldn't run no more. I'm like, God damn.
They on your ass. though.
I'm just tired. I can't leave the house if I want to leave the house. Like, I might fuck up date night, you know what I'm saying? Because I get a feeling, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I can't really move money around. I can't. It wasn't free. I was on the run.
You got to think about it. Who gets arrested from the feds and goes to trial?
Yeah.
Out of all them bank robberies and my indictment, I went to trial. So think of the evidence that I figured that they had or what they had.
Right.
You have nothing physical on me, but motherfuckers saying they did something.
Right.
Right.
That's why I shot my dice.
Okay. It's because you're like, fuck it. Because the pleas they trying to offer them
Oh my god,
were probably pretty unfavorable.
Man, that shit was ridiculous. This motherfuckers offered me 390 months. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what T Grizzly say?
He said, what'd he say?
Oh,
He say that?
tell the DA stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holler at me when you sober.
Yeah, when you sober.
Yeah.
Tell us when you sober. Like,
Roll, I'm a fella. You think I got that flow?
Yeah.
hell no. Like,
Yeah, you right, bro.
Hey.
So you wound up taking that to trial.
Yeah, I went to trial. You know, I did the 1-2. Fired attorneys, was my own attorney. Really studied law. Really.
And you're 22 years old at this time.
I'm 22 years old. And when it ends and happens and I end up going to trial and get sentenced which in 2005. Yeah, so I'm 25 then when I finished getting the trial, which what happened is, so to me, I came up. So when they went to trial, initially, out of all that shit, bro, they found me guilty of 18 USC 13 something, which is conspiracy to commit bank robbery, 1 count of bank robbery, and 1 use of a firearm in a crime of violence. The rest of the counts were a hung jury. Mm-hmm. My Judge King, I fuck with you, Judge King. Judge King said, I strongly suggest that y'all don't retrial this case and y'all come up with some shit. Mm-hmm. So they were never offering me anything reasonable. Mm-hmm. So after getting a hung jury, they finally came up with like, all right, money, plead to 4 more robberies. Plus what we have you convicted of, and then we're going to sentence you accordingly.
Right.
I was like, fuck it. If you would have said that shit in the first place, let's
we
wiggle.
had to wait for all the-
Let's wiggle. But they was trying to spank me. And
And you in the county that whole time?
I'm in MDC.
Okay, yeah, you in MDC
I'm in the
for
Fed.
3 years.
Yes, I'm popping too. We on 7th floor, get cracking crew. Shout out to all my Domos and y'all know we had this whole little crew called. We were so mad about that time. We had this little crew called Is You Hot? And we wasn't trying to hear shit. It was your paperwork at 24/7.
Right.
We was that fucked up. Huh?
Right.
I was tripping.
So
We was tripping out.
it's crazy now that there's like entire YouTube channels and people that are dedicated to the paperwork thing.
Yeah.
But that's just an extension of what really goes on the
that's-
inside. Like
You can't like what they really get fucked up and don't put on and they don't glamorize is that like if especially in the feds, if you don't come in there with your license and registration, man,
Right.
your paperwork,
That's honor.
That's honor.
Yeah.
If you're not offering to your celly, you a weirdo.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What are you here
Yeah.
for? Why
Yeah, you
are
hiding
you here?
something.
Well, you know what I'm saying? That's just a thing. Like because we about to do the 1-2. Because 9 times out of 10, when I'm in here, I'm trying to do the 1-2. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
So I need to know who's around me.
Okay. That's crazy. Both of y'all got snitched on.
Yeah.
Disloyal motherfuckers. And you, like, did you take a guilty plea or?
Yeah, so I end up pleading out because they offered me 360, right? 360 to life, and I'm like,
That's 30 years? Yeah.
and I'm like,
Paperwork gang.
It's commitment. Look,
Man, this is the best podcast in the world.
Yeah.
Straight up, they got license and registration.
We got-
Y'all know what it is. This real dealio.
Yeah.
I'm really feeling home right now. You understand me? What time is it?
Rick got him.
Stand up count time.
Rick looked like he got a whole
Man,
library.
he got his, I mean.
Yeah.
Is-
And he got his real folder though that he bought from
Right,
the
that's
commissary in the Fed. It's in his original form. It is not, you know what I'm saying? That's how he came and got it, and that's official.
Run it up.
I want you to see all of
You know what I mean? I
my
need to see
minutes.
that. Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
Drop the cocaine bot emojis in the chat for Lush. Drop the damn big rig emojis for Rick. Yeah, we
He
going crazy.
commissary led.
He got
commissary led. Commissary led.
Show him
Hey,
what we got going on.
Shit, when you go into a different yard,
That's what you look for, like you're looking for.
I don't know if they
girlfriend.
Let me see. I don't know if they can see it, but when you go into a different yard, you want the commissary list
Before
that's over there.
anything, that's the big pop in this thing.
You want the list because if we got some shit that they don't got, that's all I'm buying on my last.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I'm taking
And
that
I'm
over
trying
there.
to hassle to come here. I'm trying to come up. You know, I got some exotic raspberry Kool-Aid. You know them. What you trying to do?
Oh, it's not regular. We got the exotic guy.
We got the shit that y'all don't got.
Now, so how did y'all come across each other? What was that like?
I don't know. I don't remember the exact like moment, but we just knew the same people. You know what I'm saying? Like quiet as kept. Like we went to the same high school.
Really?
Yeah, we went to the same
Okay.
high school. Like both of us was in the streets.
Shout out Birmingham High School. Y'all know
Yeah.
what it is.
But
Y'all know what it is.
But
I graduated high school right down the street from y'all.
Where you gonna receive it?
No. So I went to a school. I'm West LA. So
Yeah, all right.
Got expelled from uni. Got expelled. First, I got
Oh,
expelled.
you got that from you?
Yeah.
Fucked up the Warriors.
Yeah. Come on, man. I got expelled from private school first, Crossroads. Then I got
You
expelled.
went to Baron Davis.
I was there with Barron. I was there with Barron. He was a senior when I was a freshman.
Yeah.
I got crazy
Shout out
BD. Shout out to
Shout out BD, yeah.
I got some crazy Baron Davis stories. Yeah, he's a good dude. State champion year and all that. I was a freshman though. He was a senior.
Yeah.
And then I got expelled from uni. Then I got expelled from uni continuation, which is called Indian Springs, which got shut down. And I graduated from a school that was on Sepulveda in Burbank called Bridges Academy.
I know exactly where you at.
Now it's a medical dispensary.
Yeah, that's it.
The funny thing is, I was selling weed back 10 years before that.
that shit was destined to be a
Yeah,
dispensary.
it was already jumping out the
Really, they
chimney.
owe you.
Yeah, you feel
You
me?
alumni.
Yeah.
You a founding member.
Exactly. I'm a founder in this motherfucker. So with that being said, and then so that's where y'all, but y'all didn't know each other.
I think it's safe to say we knew of each other, but not.
Yeah.
You know, we never met. So we end up in the same prison. So I get to prison the same day Jonathan get there.
That shit crazy. Steve.
So he turning himself in. In my mind, I'm like, I'm thinking he in there for like hacking. He just looked like a computer hacker type dude. I'm like, oh, he done stole a gang of money.
He did hack something else.
But in my mind, that was the story I made up in my mind about him. And so we just all became cool. Like, he was cool with him. You know what I'm saying? My other guy was cool with him. We just all became cool with this one.
No, I wasn't cool with it.
Oh, yeah. Y'all ain't like each other.
Yeah, me and Jonathan shot with
You wasn't fucking with him.
I wouldn't know I didn't know from our initial. That's what makes this shit so funny. Like, the shit that we did in the world.
You can't make it up.
You can't make the shit up. So initially, like, our dear friend, Jonathan Shokrian, who was talking about, he's the founder of MeUndies.
Oh, okay.
And he happens to be in there on some.
That's a white dude?
Man, he's a Persian
dude.
Persian.
Yeah, he's Persian. Yeah, yes, and he's
Shout out to my Persians from West
Shout out to all my Persians.
Yeah.
He happens to be convicted of some shit that I don't think anybody in the United States of America is convicted of. That's why I think it's some bullshit. But that's how I know everything was supposed to happen. This motherfucker was in prison for violation of the Clean Air Act.
What the fuck?
Don't even. That's what we said.
Like, you failed the smog check?
Man, listen, we'll get into that part too after I get him here, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll get into there, but he's there for that. But my initial interaction with Jonathan, this shit is funny. So we're in G Unit, Terminal Island, Federal Correctional Facility,
FCI.
Man, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And as everybody know, he know. The TV room. So the TV room is the black TV.
For those of you who don't know, G Yard looks like Venice Beach with a fence around it.
Yeah, it's literally on the ocean. It's like beachfront,
right in front of the ocean.
That's kind of dope.
Objective to get there.
Yeah.
And I got there after I did 13 years. I was behaving my best to get there. So when it's time to go home, and nigga, this is why I'm going home.
That's Club Fed?
That's Club Fed. That's what they talking about.
Yeah.
When I come out of that motherfucker, I get to see the sun come up.
Paddleball and all that shit.
Bro, people literally buy fucking mackerels and tuna off the commissary to feed the goddamn seagulls.
The seagulls, like, that's a part of their budget.
Yeah.
They got their own birds.
Yeah.
It almost went down one day because they swear the Santa Maria's killed one somebody pigeon, but I ain't even go get into that.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, but
he had his own bird, used to follow him around and shit.
So that morning, Jonathan and we're in the television room, and it's the black TV room, so you know it's turned up. Motherfuckers already done been to the kitchen working for all of that. We turned up once the gates are. We own one.
Right.
They happened to move him in our unit, and his cell is he thought he came up because you know the scenery, and he was in the dorm before, so he came into here where it had cells, but he happened to be right across from the TV room.
Yeah.
So we in there, the door open, man. I can't make this shit up, man. Nigga Jonathan, man. So we in there chopping it up, talk about the sports, whatever's going on. And like I see it, I don't know if I'm tripping, and everybody don't know if we tripping, but did the police just close the door, or did somebody just close the door, right? Like, what the fuck? So now I'm tripping. So, you know, I'm young, you know, I'm all the shit. I don't open the door back open. So now the 12 individuals that happen to be in the television room, now we are on the door now. You know what I'm saying? We're watching the door now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now, man, sure enough, that pale arm comes, reaches in there, I beeline over there. Hey, man, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
This little Persian Jewish kid from Beverly Hills. This is why this is my nigga.
Yeah.
That nigga said, man, I'm trying to get some sleep, and all I hear is your fucking mouth. I said, what the fuck? And I tried to grab his, and then my partner, they was like, hey, chill. They like chill, bro. Like, I'm like, man.
Them Persians don't be playing, bro.
Like, they fall under a certain group of people.
Right, yeah.
It's politics involved, too.
He don't know none of this shit, right? Like, it's the thing. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm already gassed up. I'm fucking cussed up. It ain't even nothing to talk about. Him and Rick happened to... They were friends with him before at the time.
Shout out to Ricky Lamonte.
Shout out Ricky Lamonte, man. Ricky Coley, man. You know, South Central Los Angeles, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Hey,
that part.
Hey, listen, man. So he was like, man, he ended up getting like, listen, I don't know if you know who Grease is, nigga, but you was like out of you tripping.
Yeah.
It's an issue, you know what I'm saying? So when they come and holler at me, long story short, man, Jonathan and I end up being in my cell, eating tacos, listening to Young Thug and T.I., chopping it up, talking about our similarities, homie. And that's like one of my best friends on the planet.
To this day.
So and okay, how did the undies thing, was that the first little business venture that y'all got correct?
So of course, as you know, as we becoming friends, I realized that he's a owner of a startup company called Me Undies. So we chopping it up and he's showing me what it is. We chop it up about business and what we do as a group. Collectively, we got our jollies off of starting businesses in there. You know what I'm saying? That was
and you're
our
able,
thing.
so to clarify for people, because there's so much game that y'all got, so much game y'all be sprinkling very casually. As a currently incarcerated convicted felon, you're still able to launch an LLC.
And the fans, well, yes, if you got your team right and you got your access to your email and your phone, but if you got a team, yes.
Okay.
And 9 times out of 10, you and that motherfucking fans, you have some bread, you got a team, so yes, you go wiggle.
Right.
Hell yeah, you go wiggle.
But there are restrictions in place for
you not to stop. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. But you know what I'm saying? Okay, I get that. But let's wiggle.
We got
motherfuckers using the day room for board meetings and shit.
Exactly. Like you have to think about it. We have an email system. So although it takes 2 hours, depending on how I email you, I can have this email going out at 2, 4, 6, and depending on when I come out from my unlock, the responses will be coming accordingly.
Right.
Then I have the phone. It's just how you utilize your mind.
Right. And your time. You only get 300 minutes. So
So
you got to make that 300 minutes last for the whole month.
Except for December and
300 minutes to do what?
To use the phone. You get 300 minutes to use the phone. You get unlimited text and email as long as you have money on there because it costs.
Right. So how did y'all, did you both go in with the mentality? Because you said there's 2 different types of mentality people go to prison with. They want to become better criminals or they want to flip the script on their life. Yeah. What was y'all's mentalities going in, and like, was it easy to make that change?
Oh, my whole thing, I was never doing that shit again. Like anything that I got apprehended for, I fucked up, or I feel like I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So even though I didn't get caught, motherfuckers told I can't never fuck with that no more. Because I was trashing that.
Yeah.
Now it's perfection. Like we're in this ad game. So every time we put out a motherfucking ad, nigga, I get an award.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I get a pat on the back. So it's a whole different guy. I can still shoot for perfection. Yeah.
And what about you? Were you kind of like, fuck?
I felt like I came in super bitter. Like I was just mad. Like, just
were you?
The fact like that it went down the way it did. You know what I'm saying? But I ended up reading this book. One of my dudes put me on to this book and shit. And it was just one line in there that said everybody plays a role in the drama of life. Right? It's called The Music of Life. And that shit really just changed my perspective of like, if these people don't tell on me, if all of these things, like I said, Forrest Gump my way through life, like I don't meet this dude, we don't meet Jonathan, we don't do the MeUndies thing, we don't start Concreates. So I just looked at it like that, and that really just changed my perspective on that whole situation. But it took that. I read a lot of books. He still be going through that. Cause it's like we just had something today. I ain't gonna get into it, where he has to analyze the situation and to wonder why, because it didn't go out how he wanted it in
to
my
go.
mind,
right in his mind. You know what I'm saying? And me, I have this thing like I embrace uncertainty, because I used to hit like everything don't go to plan when you doing that shit.
That's a 20-sided die.
You know what I'm saying? So you always got to pivot. So that's one of my strengths, and I think that's why we work so well.
You was playing Russian roulette with your freedom every single time. Yeah.
And I love my chances.
Yeah.
I love them.
Regardless of the odds.
Love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you brought up an interesting point the other day, and it's in your reel for. I don't want to know. I don't know how much we can talk about.
We ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
We can mention it, but we ain't.
Yeah. But you brought up something that I thought was super fascinating. That you basically. You look at the different skill sets required
to
be lucrative and successful in these different fields for, counterfeiters, for bank robbers, for dope dealers, pimps, whatever. But you see the way to apply that in a corporate context.
Right. That's what I told him. Like, bro, you ain't no bank robber. Like, you a strategist. Like, I explained it. Like, who you think making these commercials for these brands? He like, if we had a McDonald's commercial, like, who doing that? He like, shit, McDonald's. Nigga, like, who else? Nah, like, it's an agency that do that. And that's when we had that
I still remember that day. He was like, it's an agency to do that. I was like, shit, we could do that. He was like, nigga, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
What we getting at?
Right.
So that was the like, oh shit.
And then
now we
started looking at it. Tattoo artists, art directors, bank robbers, strategists. Like, we start really taking apart what it take to even commit a certain type of crime. Because if you think about it like this, right? As an advertising agency, our job is to solve business problems for our client. Usually the client is like, we want to sell more soda, right? Or we want to, make more money, right? Or we want people to fuck with us over these people. You know what I'm saying? So it's usually a simple problem like that. But if you think about the reason why we sold drugs or robbed banks, like, that's also solving a problem. It's like, we don't want to be poor.
Right.
Right? We don't.
You're not doing it for fun.
Right,
and you got to think about it. And that's in corporate America, that's what a brief is.
Right.
When you get a brief from Google, they're saying they wanted 100,000 people to take this course and they need to try it, you need to do this. And they hire an ad agency to do that.
Right.
To reach those eyeballs.
To reach those eyeballs. We're in a game that everybody doesn't understand. Like, and when it comes to hip hop, one thing they do in hip hop right now, everybody knows. You don't need the label anymore. You don't need a label. But what you need, marketing still.
Right.
You still need more. I don't give a damn what you're doing, how you driving it up, how I'm gonna know your music exists. I don't give a fuck how dope it is. You be the most talented
artist in the world, but if people don't know about you, they ain't never gonna hear it.
You just talented amongst your friends and family.
Yeah. Which unfortunately,
like, oh, you dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, that's what separates somebody who's sold records versus somebody that's dope. Because it's just like playing basketball. You ever seen like the N1 leagues? These dudes that play in the park, like, some of these dudes could probably hoop better than some of the dudes in the NBA.
Absolutely.
The point is, they're in the NBA and you in the street.
Right.
And so, you have to think about what we saying. Like, marketing branding is, how do you separate yourself from everybody that's doing the thing that you doing, right? Marketing is, how do you bring it to the people, right? It's the process of bringing it to the people. And so music needs that, right? Like, if everybody doing, what they call mumble rap, for an example, right? Or everybody doing a certain style of music, branding would be, how do you separate yourself? So when you think about folks like J. Cole, for example, you know what I'm saying? While everybody was doing that mumble shit, he was over here doing the conscious type flow, right? And so that's how he was able to stand out in a sea of people doing the other thing. That's what branding is.
And the artwork associated with it.
Exactly.
King Amongst Fools type.
Exactly. They morphed into Dreamville.
Yeah.
They morphed into these things. There are steps to get there.
Yeah. And marketing is the steps to get there. That's the process of bringing those things to the people.
Now, okay, obviously, running an empire like you did, you had the skill set of a CEO. Is that safe to say?
Safe to say.
But DJ Quick once said, they don't sell dope, it sells itself. You don't really have to market selling dope like that. So how did you realize that you have this proficiency for branding?
Well, yeah, because it's not just I'm not just like a dude that ran an empire. I'm also a creative. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am a creative from that
Now,
standpoint.
this nigga's, first of all, he's underscoring. This nigga got probably about 13,000 tracks.
Okay.
This nigga's first love is music.
Right.
I didn't probably have more record deals than you can announce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what he fucked with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, of course, he understands the overlapping layers in the area.
Okay.
Right. So as a creative, like he said, like I can make music, you know what I'm saying? I could write, those sorts of things, but I never really made money off it, right? When you think about the record, business back in the day, I always end up owing labels money at the end of the day.
Yep.
So
it's a scam.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, whatever. I'm gonna do this shit independent. So I was focused more on on Independence, and then I ended up going to the Bing, and then coming home, and we had a whole different perspective because I'm like, shit, like music only a $42 billion a year industry when we know advertising is a $780 billion.
That was our turning point.
Right. So
we said all these people over here scrambling for this money, and ain't nobody over here looking for this shit. And it comes
every
back.
ad need music.
Yeah.
It comes back to what one story that Rance told me. Shout out Rance, 1500 and nothing Sound Academy.
Yeah.
Rance reminded me, he had
Real
told
musicians.
me, he was like, why y'all go shine? Because everybody wants to be the first one. Long as y'all the first ones to do it, y'all gonna win. And we was like, shit, we are the first motherfuckers to start an ad agency from federal prison.
I didn't even know.
Like, damn.
It's never been done before.
I did not know that existed.
So people are always like, because in our industry, like when you think about our industry, right? We famous, like in our space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You talk to an executive either in the brand world or in the agency world, they like, oh, I heard it.
If my brother hit to you, feel me?
You know what I'm saying? Like, in
yeah.
our space, like we kind of a big deal because people always come to us like, yo, why didn't we think of that? Mm-hmm. Our answer to them is always because it wasn't for you, right? It was for us to do it because we have managed to become, right, that bridge between corporate America and the streets. From an advertiser perspective, like you could offer 6 seconds of your music playing in a national or international ad or campaign. That's the equivalent of going multi-platinum.
That's what we don't understand. That's our disconnect with these kids and these views and all of that shit. Like, you got followers and no dollars. Like Yo Gotti said, that shit ain't adding up. I don't care less about that shit. What do you want to do? You want to get some money.
Right.
Where's the money coming from?
Right.
Corporate American sponsorship. Who has corporate American sponsorship?
did.
Us.
So
What
y'all
the
are the
fuck?
plug. You still the plug. Yeah.
Silly motherfucker.
So this is, I already know the answer, but just to further drill this into people's subconscious, sync licensing is far more lucrative for artists than trying to chase streams.
In my opinion, yeah. Because it's so many ways to skin a cat in this particular arena. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could make a song about being a champion and license that song to every arena in the league. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the NBA, the NFL, whoever plays sports.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a performance royalty that come from that. You know what I'm saying?
And get your PRO locked in,
Feel what I'm
your
saying?
ASCAP,
You
your
feel what I'm saying?
BMI.
It's
Now you winning.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different ways to make money off your music besides being a famous rapper
And I'll tell you what,
or a famous artist.
my other brother, I don't know if you ever, Chris told you about him, my brother John is a filmmaker, and I've gotten songs in a grip of his movies, and that's...
Oh, y'all parents hard.
Yeah.
First of all, y'all
yeah.
Shout out to y'all,
Shout out to y'all parents. God damn.
No, yeah.
Sheesh.
Well, really, that's our lineage. My pops was a filmmaker, so that's like that's the DNA strand right there.
right.
We was all low key supposed to be in that arena,
But he the one that, all right,
He's the one
somebody
that-
had to take to get that.
and he's incredibly creative and has been very successful. People think that nepotism might open a door, but it ain't gonna get you in the room.
You ain't lying.
You gotta have.
Not if you don't got it.
Yeah, you gotta have. My brother had to the point where he was putting on my pops later in my pops' career type shit. But I was fortunate enough to have some songs land in a grip of his films, and that's been more lucrative. I have a platinum plaque. I have multiple platinum plaques overseas, but this has been by far the most lucrative endeavor of mine in the music industry. Was the sync and licensing and making sure I have my ASCAP
so
straight.
many different ways to skin a cat. Like I said, you could make a song about being a champion, and then every team out there is gonna want to play this in their stadium when the fans come. Right, like you could take flat fees all day in perpetuity with a brand.
Let's just go back. Right. Let's just, since it's the 50th year at hip hop,
50th anniversary.
Okay, and what we know now, right? Think if we were thinking IP wise.
Oh, yeah.
Think if motherfucking Lil Wayne and Baby and them had the sense to really trademark bling bling.
Right. Which is now in the dictionary.
Which is in the dictionary.
Right.
All these times that Slick Rick has said he put on his Ralph Lauren polo cologne.
Right.
We were never compensated for none of that shit. They were compensated a tad bit, but what we mean to the culture and what it is and how we give them that game, we are trying to get you guys compensated.
Right.
Stop doing this shit for free.
Yeah.
Like we listen, we did, man, we be doing some shit. That's one thing I really love about what we do, bro, is like we not in these corporate rooms just trying to get a check. Like everything that we spitting at these folks gotta give back to the hood. Gotta
Every
give back.
project.
It's everything is something about how do we put people on that don't got access, right? We founded this company on a belief system that creativity without opportunity is what lead to criminality. If I would have known I could have sold ideas for a living, I probably would have never sold drugs.
Bro.
So this is, and I think it's important to point that out for anybody that might be getting bright ideas of being, you know, the next dope dealer and all that, coke kingpin. And all. This is far more lucrative.
Bro, listen, I'm not even gonna get to some matters, but your favorite lawyer and or doctor, if I'm not right there with them, I'm exceeding them in hourly and day rates.
Yeah.
I'm just as
Like,
a chief creative officer.
Yeah.
Make more money than a doctor per year with some of
real.
these job titles that come up under this.
For real.
Think about that. Add a crease to your cranium right now. Like, add a crease to your cranium.
Real.
There, and even look, flowers to my brother Rick. You know, doing what he did and then coming out and starting a trucking business.
Come on, man.
And all that. I know that, Rick, that's incredibly more lucrative than what you was doing before, right?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would damn sure say so.
A few words.
I would say so. But I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't regret anything because I honestly think that if I didn't go through it, then I wouldn't like appreciate what I got today. And so I'd probably be doing something different, you know what I'm saying? And this is just part of the journey, part of the process. You know, if you trust in the process and build it, it'll come.
No, and that's the irony of this whole thing is if it wasn't for, you know, your colorful past, y'all never would have found each other and y'all wouldn't be on this path that you're on right now, which is, you know, no regrets at the end of the day.
No, that's my bro right there. Like, that's like, me and bro, we the next, I'm just to let y'all know all the way solid. We the next, like Robert Townsend and Ken and Ivory Reigns, and I don't know what y'all know what they do to this creativity.
Right. Yeah.
But that's where we at with it.
Yeah.
We putting our folks on, we in front of the camera, we behind the camera, we doing dope shit, you know what I'm saying, with dope people, you know what I'm saying, we putting each other on.
And it's honorable.
It's honorable.
It is very, I mean,
You
like,
know what I'm saying? Like that's the main thing is like we not for sale. You know, we definitely have turned way more money down than we've made. Let's put that out there.
right.
Yeah, like, bro, like.
You're not chasing the bag, it's chasing you.
No.
You can't, because, like, think about it like this.
You gonna compromise your integrity?
We formerly incarcerated. This thing is selling all the dope. I've been robbing all the banks. I can't lead to the narrative and take this brief from this liquor company because you know what I'm saying. I know what attributes to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. I know what attributes to it. So I gotta shake this one.
There's karma in that.
It's karma in that.
Bad energy.
Man, just like the same way I know my partners that's in here that's doing all this time, they not doing the time for the dope. They doing the time for all that energy what's in them dope, them robins, them the that, to the that, to the that, to the that. I'm cool on that, me personally.
I
That's
totally
how we move.
Yeah, I'm straight. That's how we move.
When we
you know
get
what I'm saying?
briefed-
I'm good.
When we get briefs, we listen. First off, let's say this, right? It's a gang of companies that benefit off of prison labor.
Right.
Right? I'm talking about slave labor, like 12 cents an hour.
Especially in those privatized prisons.
No
right?
question, right? So we all know that's a thing. And if we don't know, you know now. It's a thing. You could Google it.
Modern day indentured servitude.
No question, right? We might get a brief from one of the brands that benefit off of it who like, oh, we heard about y'all. We want to do this with y'all. We like, okay, unless we addressing this, y'all got to clean your face. We not saying you can't clean your face up. But if y'all not willing to address this, we can't work together. I'm telling you, when I say we done turned more money down than we done made, it's because those principles, that karma, how are we supposed to, as formerly incarcerated people, work for a brand that we probably worked for in prison that we can't work for when we come
When
home?
you get out, like that shit is not.
These
Right.
men can't even
That's
work
whack.
for your company, and they answering your phones, or
While they're in
they
prison.
making your products
Yeah.
that you selling to people, and then they come home and can't even get a job working for you.
You'll frown up at them.
So applying a moral compass to that is, you know,
Humongous.
it's humongous, and it definitely shows how much you actually gleamed from this experience.
Sure.
And you're literally, it's kind of like recovery from drug addiction. You need to undergo a complete psychic change, and I feel like y'all did that. Now, with that first, the MeUndies thing,
Sure.
and hanging out with these guys, if you hang out with these dudes for 20 minutes, they're gonna kick so many random. I don't even want to give away the jewels they be saying, but if they see some type of thing that correlates with the brand, it's shit that be so obvious, but no one's thought of before.
Yeah.
You guys make these connections so quick, like, oh, you could brand it like this, and this should be the tagline and the slogan.
Right.
And just hanging out with y'all, you're giving away so much free game. It's, you know what I mean?
You know what's dope about that? I know everybody's seen them before. Have you ever seen that movie Limitless?
Yeah.
I honestly think
Y'all up the NZT.
we've already possessed all the
right.
shit we've read.
Right.
You've seen everything you know. You know what I'm saying? You did it. But I don't think it's the pill. I think it's the like-minded individuals. I think the pill is I think it's the kindred and the team shit.
Right.
And when you lock in with them like-minded people, that limitless shit come up.
And that's what, and I attribute that to God. A lot of
That
people
part,
might, whether or not you believe in God, you
Yeah.
believe in the connection and the
Exactly.
collective subconscious mind of people all in unison working towards a common goal. That's God right there.
And you really gotta know, like, when you working towards a common goal with people who have the purest of intentions for that outcome, when you start noticing that shit ain't going the way y'all talked about or you desired, it's usually because it's off in alignment with that particular energy and that connection. And so we do that all the time. That's what we was just talking about today.
Yeah,
where we
today.
like, okay, why didn't this go the way it was? Like, we know our intentions are pure. All right, so now we got to evaluate everybody else. Like, oh, okay, we might have missed this.
And then we sit there and we discovered the undiscovered nugget that we're overlooking is really trying to make us go.
Right.
And we not paying them no mind.
Right.
Because somebody else got what we think are bad.
Right.
Right.
But this person got all the power, want to see us win.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, man, fuck that. You know, we tripped.
Now we got it. You know what I'm
Yeah, we
saying?
got it
We got it.
now.
And if it don't fit, don't force it.
Exactly.
And that's the
Exactly.
beauty of, we call it the intellectual Thunderdome.
No doubt.
So we have conversations that, like, from the outside looking in might seem like it's gonna go somewhere else, but this is how we squabble. You know what I'm saying? This is how we peel back layers. This is how we get to the bottom, what we call the tip of the spear. Because he might say, I don't like that idea, and I think it's dope. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta sell it to him. The same way I gotta sell an idea to a client, right? We all have to believe in this shit.
Yeah, if you
way
can't
before.
convince one of the homies, how you going to convince these
on.
corporate motherfuckers? It's not.
And if that's not an
going.
exercise, I want him to, he gotta tell me my shit whack.
Like they all the time. Like motherfuckers be talking about viewers. You got this many viewers. You got, first of all, I don't give a fuck if I got 5 viewers, but check me out on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
See who's fucking following me. Yo, brother.
Yeah.
It's which is who.
Yeah.
The CMO of here.
Right.
The CMO of here.
Right.
Wake your game up for you. Fuck your name up. I don't care how many. I care who.
So our thing always be,
Weirdo.
our thing always be like, it's not about how
No
many
fingerprints. No. Come on.
it's not about how many people follow you, it's about who follow you.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of times people say, I think I want to do a book, bro. I was just thinking this the other day. I want to write a book that takes phrases and amends them so they actually make sense. So like when you think about people say like, oh, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
The sphere of influence.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not really about who you know, right? It's also about how you know them.
Right.
Right? Like, that's a true statement. It's like, I know a bunch of motherfuckers, but I might not be cool enough to be like, you know what, I'm going to call your brother and ask him to do this.
Right.
Right? But it's a different conversation if I'm going to you and saying, hey, I want to work with Indeed. Can you plug me up with your brother? Like, it's
Absolutely.